get some understanding in Texas on what's going on and kind of put out an information piece and kind of see
Yeah,
where we're
sure.
going. Yeah.
Hey, Jim.
Hey guys, hang on a second. What a day.
What a day.
I keep trying to get my video on. There we go. Okay.
How you doing?
Doing all right, Donovan. Thanks for having me. Just, I was in New York for the weekend and I got delayed at the airport getting back, so I had a long travel day and crashed last night hard and then woke up this morning to news from Texas. And it was like this
Yeah.
It's been a long week. Yeah. It's
it
just
was
one
like,
day.
yeah, it was like policy Christmas. I was like, oh, everything's changed now. Okay, it's different now. Like, so the
Exactly.
whole, I'm here in Louisville, Kentucky, but what's like this news from Texas has huge national implications well beyond what's going on in Austin. And it's just,
Yeah.
it's a really big deal.
Yeah. That's why once I saw that we had the opportunity to speak with you and that you had time today, there's a lot of people in Texas, especially here in East Texas, that are supremely invested because they become regular customers of places, and small business owners themselves have established themselves as the go-to places. So
Right.
they were not sure how to move forward. So my first question off the muscle is kind of like, what was your immediate reaction when you woke up to the news? Like what did you say in your head?
All right. Well, I've been telling people for weeks now that we're all living in the future that Governor Abbott gives us. I'm and like either one of these decisions was going to set policy on a significantly different course. It was either going to be like when was going to be on our back. We're going to have if THC prohibition won't stick in Texas, then
Yeah.
where is it safe? Right? So it's a really big deal. And the other side of it is if he let it stand, we were going to have an uphill climb. It was going to be really
Yeah.
difficult for us. People were going to look at
Yeah.
Texas and say, well,
That's
Texas
what we
does it
thought.
all.
We thought that so much work had been done for nothing.
Right.
So in simple terms, like when I'm explaining this to other people, what would the SB3 have done? Or I think it may still be, I don't know what it lies at now after the veto, but what do you think would be the effect of it?
Well, it would have affected Texan farmers and businesses and consumers across the board. And, it would affect millions of Texans, right? To your point, it would have shut down small businesses and people who believed in the promise of hemp as a business opportunity, who risked and invested their lives and their, in their savings into building a business. All that would have been at risk, or they would have had to close their doors. Farmers in Texas who believed their politicians that this was something that they could count on would all have been, like the plug would have been pulled on them. And
Yeah.
then Cornbread, we're an out-of-state company. We're from Kentucky, but we still have thousands of customers in Texas. Something
Yeah.
like 7.5% of our revenue comes from Texas customers.
Yeah.
And those customers have choices. And SB3 would have made it illegal for us to ship products into Texas. It would have made
Okay.
it a
Okay.
Class A misdemeanor. And because
Whoa.
we have our hemp license in Kentucky, we do a background check. They do a background check on us every year when they renew our license. And if we have a drug-related misdemeanor on our record, it'll put
It's
our license at risk in Kentucky.
okay.
And
Okay.
so
Okay.
SB3 would have made us cut ties with thousands of customers in Texas.
So your revenue would have lost by 7% at least.
Yeah, we would have more than feel it. Like it would have been a
Jeez,
hit.
it would have feel.
It would have been bad. And we're facing we're facing direct to consumer bans now in Alabama and Tennessee.
Okay.
So this is
Okay.
a real thing that we have to navigate. And Alabama and Tennessee are, one thing or another thing, but Texas is Texas.
Yeah. So speaking of that, Texas being Texas, is this veto a shift in the Republican leadership's view on cannabis, hemp products? What does that mean?
Absolutely. Like
Okay.
this issue has always been legalization of marijuana, legalization of cannabis, the decriminalizing, like making cannabis normal and mainstream has been a popular opinion in America for a long time. It's been a majority opinion in America for a long time. It's been the majority of the Democratic Party in America for a long time. And in the last 5 years or so, it's become a majority issue in the Republican Party as well.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And so now the only people who are against this is a narrow minority of Republicans. And
Right.
now they have learned that they no longer enjoy the high ground that they thought they had. Um,
Yeah.
and you know, like, and it's come for them in Texas, it's going to come for them everywhere. This game is over.
Yeah. So on the flip side, does that mean it's a green light?
No, we got work to do.
Okay.
We got work to do. This is, you know, the show's not over.
What does the work look like?
Well, the work looks like getting something through the special. And, you know, a special session in Texas is filled with all kinds of landmines. We're going to get horse traded for every other issue that's up for grabs in Austin. There's going to be lots of backroom deals. And whenever we get through the House, we got to get through the Senate.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, and from what I saw, the lieutenant governor's statements earlier today.
Like, oh man, did you see that? What are your thoughts on that? He went kind of.
No, look, now you're testing me, and I appreciate that.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I really didn't. I just saw it, and I honestly laughed. It was. I don't know. I was entertained.
Everyone has the right to their feelings. I'm hopeful that when the special session comes around, everyone has had a chance to calm down. And we can be productive adults and find real solutions to these problems.
Okay, there we go.
Whatever we get through the House, we got to get through the Senate, and we need friends in the Senate.
Okay. Friends in the Senate. Okay, so Texas.
I appreciate that.
So in Texas, we have a lot of veterans. And in Tyler, particularly, we have a resource called Camp V, which is one of the most leading edge campgrounds for veterans. And so I know that the hemp driven products bring relief to their anxieties, PTSDs, also physical things as well. What would the SB3 have done to them? How would that have affected them? So what would you say to them?
I mean, SB3 would have pulled the plug on lifelines for veterans, that have sent them back on opioids or into the black market.
Opioids?
I mean, if a lot of veterans using cannabis products for pain relief, send them right back onto opioids. So there would have been profound negative health implications for veterans in Texas if SB3 had been allowed to stand. And so, we owe our veterans a debt, and part of that debt is taking care of them and making sure they have access to the health and wellness products that they need on a daily basis. And hemp has become part of that. And especially, the teacup program in Texas is a joke, it appears. From the outside, I don't know what I don't know, but from the outside,
that's what we're looking for, that perspective.
How's the biggest state have the littlest program? Everything's bigger in Texas, but teacup is how it is, I guess.
Yeah. Great question.
So, without a robust medical marijuana program, Texas is the biggest dry state in America. And with a larger veterans population than other states. You got a giant veterans population, and you're gonna have no legal access to any THC products. I mean, this is 2025. Like, those days are over.
Yeah, because and that kind of tallies into a whole nother segment of like the suicide rates and stuff like that. And that would have, in my opinion, which I think that you kind of gave some life to, is that would have had negative effects, and we might have lost some lives behind this bill. Sad to say. So what message do you have for your Texas customers about the veto and your product availability, the safety? what can we talk about on the cornbread side of things? Because a lot of people were hitting us up once we said we were doing the interview, and they were interested in the sodas, and they were wondering just kind of like that type of answer from you.
Sure. The first thing that we have to say to our customers in Texas is thank you, because we sent all kinds of emails to our customers in Texas telling them to reach out to their legislators and then to the governor after SB3 passed to tell the governor to veto. And the governor heard from Cornbread's customers and from customers of other companies in the hemp space and understood the narrative that the prohibitionists use is that hemp products are only available in smoke shops and convenience stores, and young people are getting unregulated highs from places that aren't checking IDs. But when our customers, who are all, not all, our customers, who are mostly women over 50 in the suburbs, started reaching out to their legislators, all of a sudden these legislators are like, hang on a second. I know this person. Or this person's
right. That's my neighbor. Yeah.
So, we dispelled this myth that the customers of hemp products are all marginal young people trying to pull one over on people. That's not who these customers are. These are customers who know how to pick up a phone, who know who they're voting for, and know how to hold elected officials accountable. And so to our customers in Texas, thank you for holding elected officials accountable. This is how it works. And Texans showed everybody that when you show up and demand something get done against all odds, we can make it happen. But we couldn't have done that without thousands and thousands and thousands of Texans.
Man. So my last question, I don't want to take up too much of your time because you're giving me such great answers, but do you believe we'll eventually see, I don't know even if it's hard to even say it, but full cannabis legalization in the state of Texas? Like, and I don't mean like,
well, you just jinxed it. So,
well, do you think that it will happen? Because I think people are scared to get behind it because the high ground's been the other way so far. But with something like this, would it be worth giving it a push, or what do you think that Texans would want to hear in that?
Here's the path, right? The leadership that Governor Abbott has shown by vetoing SB3 indicates that prohibition will no longer stand in Texas. And right now, that prohibition in the freedom that Texans enjoy is involved around hemp products and not full strength cannabis flower. Even though that line is blurrier than folks want it to be, that's still like a real distinction, right? But what Texas has shown America is that prohibition is over. And so the next step is passing a farm bill. It's 3 years behind schedule in Congress. And that farm bill is going to further enshrine the legality of a certain kind of cannabis that we're calling hemp. That's step one. And Texas's leadership, by vetoing SB3, calling a special session, passing a regulatory bill, is going to show Congress the way. And the Texas congressional delegation is going to have a key part in that because now they have cover from the governor to vote the right way. Wow. So that's step one. Step two in Congress is once we get a farm bill passed, then we need a cannabinoid product regulatory bill to pass through Congress through a different committee that regulates products of legal cannabinoids in America. So that's going to start with hemp products today, but it could be more cannabis products tomorrow when more products get legalized. So Texas is starting a series of dominoes, and that's going to come back to Texas. Once we get some work done in D.C., then Texas is going to have the leadership it needs. I'm from Kentucky, so very similar, like Republican supermajority legislature. We have a Democratic governor now, but that's not always the case. And what we would hear we have medical marijuana in Kentucky now. Dispensaries open later this year. What we always heard when we knocked on the door about medical marijuana in Kentucky was never, not on your life, will never happen. And what happened was it happened.
That's what happened. So that's what people need to hear. It happened.
Right. And things like this happen like nothing happens forever, and then all of a sudden, lots of stuff happens all at once, right? So you hit like a tipping point, and all of a sudden, this like dominoes start to fall. And this veto in Texas really feels like a tipping point where all of a sudden, people like you said, who have been afraid of piping up in the past because it felt like the odds were too long against them, all of a sudden they're going to feel a lot stronger today.
Yeah. So, just reviewing my notes, we're looking for this farm bill, and we need to pay attention at the special session.
Yeah.
And we need to get a bill through the Senate.
Right. In the special session. Right.
In the special session. So that's what the rollout looks like for Texans. And are you aware? I can do some research, but are you aware of any time frames that people can be able to vote, or who they should lobby to?
I believe that the special session begins July 21st. So we've got some time to get around to it. Before SB3 passed, the bill that Chairman Ken King had put together was a solid bill. If we could get Chairman King's bill through the Senate, that would be a huge win for Texas and for everybody.
Wow.
But,
okay.
I came to Texas to testify about these issues because Chairman King's first draft of that bill would have criminalized direct-to-consumer sales into Texas, and that was not good for us. But the last draft that he was pushing did not do that, and so it was a much better bill. And I came to really appreciate and admire the work that Chairman King and his committee put together in getting that bill. And I think that's the bill that everyone will get behind and push. And we've just got to get it through the Senate. And the first step to getting it through the Senate is getting folks kind of calmed down a little bit after all the commotion. So,
yeah, because there's a lot of commotion. Okay, so
get folks calm down, and then we can figure it out.
Yeah. So, what role will Cornbread play in shaping this in the future? Will you guys be an information source as well as a product base? How can we not lose the momentum we have as Texans working with you guys?
It's a great question. We do as good a job as we can keeping our customers updated as to news in their state. So for folks can go to cornbreadhemp.com and drop us an email address, and we'll keep you up to date in your state as to what's going on. We'll help you advocate for these bills by connecting you with your state representative and your state senator and your members of Congress. And so like we can, we'll facilitate all that through email direct to our customers. And in our strength as a product company for ourselves at Cornbread and for our community of brands that we're competitive with, on one day, but we're collaborative legislatively the next. It's all of our customers reaching out to their legislators that are really helping to move this needle. And so, Texans have told everybody that y'all can move some mountains, and this is a really big deal worth celebrating. Y'all did a good job.
Awesome. Thank you for your time. And we'll be getting an article up, and then we'll have some sound bites from the interview up, and we'll be sure to tag Cornbread in it. And I'll look forward to talking with you closer to the special session, just so that we can get an update, and hopefully the commotion some of the dust will have settled from this slam, as I'll call it.
We'll see what happens. But it's going to be all right. Everything's going to be all right. We're going to get there one day at a time.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
All right, great. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, David.
All right, take care.
Later.